Thank you to everyone who took time to check in for the Membership Revival Census. Be sure to get counted in the number. Take a few minutes to ensure that your key information is correct in our system. Stop by the tables in the atrium and lobby, or simply check your email and fill out the form to update your information.
Our First Friends ministry will kick off soon, and there is a need for at least 75 volunteers to help greet, host, and help guests feel welcome here at St. Mark. Because when our guests feel safe, their hearts will open to the transforming power of God. An interest meeting with more details will be held February 24th, that's a Saturday, at 10 a.m. in the sanctuary for all those interested in being a first friend. And don't forget, we are all preparing to take our giving to the next level with the push offering. Not sure what that is? Well, this is our chance to celebrate God's grace through generosity. It's an opportunity to grow our church accounts instead of depleting them, grow in our personal giving, and follow the Bible's way of raising funds for special projects. Specifically, the first project will be to repair the Family Life Center and the Worship Center. Here's what we should all do. Pray about becoming a consistent giver. Plan what to give, and participate by bringing your offering weekly. It's time to celebrate God's grace to you by pushing Him to the front of the line in your giving. It's time to push your giving to the next level. Push Sunday is March 4th.
Get up! Lift it up. And the burdens of my heart roll away.
February 23rd at 7 o'clock p.m., the music ministry presents the second old-fashioned gospel singing. The entire community is invited to come and take that step back in time to the soul-stirring classics sung by our parents and grandparents. Let's all come together and share that good old-fashioned gospel feel.
Many recognitions during Black History Month focus on important figures that have become familiar, such as Booker T. Washington, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and Shirley Chisholm. Each of these played significant and crucial roles in the history of our country. But every Sunday this month, we will bring to you stories about Africans and African Americans who have helped to shape Christian theology. It's Black history from a Christian perspective. Athanasius, born in 296 AD in Alexandria, was a Christian bishop. During his life and for his beliefs, Athanasius was exiled multiple times. He was called the Black Dwarf by his enemies, but ultimately his legacy remains today. He made 3 primary contributions to the theory and practice of Christianity and endorsed the monastic lifestyle. Athanasius is also the first person to formally identify and canonize the same 27 books of the New Testament that are in use today. Until then, the list of appropriate works tended to vary throughout the Christian community. He is also credited for developing and campaigning for the Nicene Creed, a formal statement expressing the consensus of the Church, declaring the Son to be begotten, not made, being of one substance with the Father. This was in the theological defense of the full divinity of Christ. The careful wording of the Nicene Creed was a proper expression of biblical truth. Wyatt T. Walker. The Reverend Wyatt T. Walker was Chief of Staff to the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and a key strategist behind civil rights protests that turned the tide against racial injustice in the Jim Crow South of the 1960s. Dr. Walker helped circulate Letter from Birmingham Jail, one of the most important documents of the civil rights movement, in which Dr. King argued for civil disobedience as a legitimate response to racial segregation. He also helped organize the 1963 March on Washington for Jobs and Freedoms, which culminated with Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech. Scholars and activists alike say his management skills were crucial in turning the Southern Christian Leadership Council from a largely volunteer organization into a national power in the civil rights movement, with a $1 million budget and 100 full-time workers. For 37 years, he was a towering community figure as the pastor at Canaan Baptist Church of Christ in Harlem. From 1965 to 1975, he was a special assistant on urban affairs to Governor Nelson A. Rockefeller of New York. In both posts, he was a strong advocate of affordable housing and better schools in the low-income neighborhoods of Upper Manhattan. In Walker's later career, he turned his attention to Africa, working in the anti-apartheid movement and helping to bring about free elections in South Africa. Walker has preached on every continent in the world, with the exception of Australia. He emerged as the nation's foremost authority on the music of the African American religious experience and was named by Ebony magazine as one of the greatest African American preachers. He was a hymnologist and specialist in the area of African American church music. He highlighted the singing of hymns and spirituals as essential to teaching sound theology. Jesse Jackson has called him Harlem's Renaissance man because of his multiple gifts and varied careers. This has been another Black History Moment.